All right, it's going to be, or it is already a mouth-watering clash, and they're in Pool A, obviously starting the World Cup today at the Stade de France. 9 p.m. is that kickoff. But let's chat now to Khotso Sello here in studio. Khotso, I'm looking at this group, and already you can anticipate that the French, the hosts, will be under heavy pressure to make it out of their group. New Zealand, three-time winners, coming into any World Cup as favourites. How are you looking at Pool A?
Pool A is going to be a tricky one. I think France and New Zealand historically have always had, you know, a love-hate relationship at World Cups. Whenever New Zealand is on a high, then France are the ones who are the party poopers, if one have to put it like that. And we also know that at the previous 2015 edition, New Zealand beat France in the eventual final. So it's a big one. Number 3 versus number 4 in the world. France really wants to start this World Cup off with a bang, and we all know that the two teams, whoever tops the group, might have to face South Africa in the quarterfinals. So yeah, it's going to be a big one.
Namibia, the African interest in that Pool A?
Oh, the African interest. I mean, I think it's very great to have Namibia at the World Cup, one of the very few teams who are not ranked in the top 20 sides in the world, but being able to make it to the World Cup. Kudos to them. And I think if they come out with a single victory out of that group, I think the Africans will be happy.
All right, let's quickly look at Pool B. That's what we want to see at the end of the day. South Africa, as is, we want to see South Africa at the top of that group. And it is the one group that I looked at. It's got 3 top 5 nations. Ireland come into this World Cup as the number 1 ranked team in the world, and the Scotland ranked number 5. South Africa, obviously the world champions, defending champions, ranked number 2 in the world.
I think South Africa showed to everybody that tournament rugby is what matters, and South Africa's record in tournament rugby has been proven, having won 3 World Cups already. And I think the fact that they came into this World Cup already off a big win against New Zealand, they were showing that they will start peaking at the right time. And I think that massive win against New Zealand in Twickenham just showed that tournament rugby is all about peaking at the right time. Everybody was writing them off earlier on this year at the Rugby Championship, talking about lack of cohesion and all sorts of things, but they are showing that they're ready to take on the world. And hopefully with that opener against Scotland, looking at the team that South Africa's picked for that Scotland clash, it looks like a very athletic and a powerful, explosive team. And I think it's going to be a great opener for South Africa, and they'll be looking to right the wrongs of 2009, where they opened the World Cup with a loss, with a win against Scotland come Sunday.
The World Cup opener this evening will be at the iconic Stade de France in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. But that's not the only thing in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. Our sport editor here at Newzroom Afrika, Valen Kirtley, is also standing by. She is joining us this morning. Valen, I don't know how your French is, but for now, bonjour.
Bonjour, bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome to Paris. It is absolutely magical, and it's everything that they say it is. I think for many of us, certainly my first time in France, I've still got those rose-tinted glasses on. But we cannot wait for this evening's match. Something you'll notice, however, when you actually move through France, and through Paris in particular, is that there's not too much paraphernalia that you would expect to see at a Rugby World Cup. And then you come to the Place de la Concorde, which is just along the Seine, and you see a massive rugby village. It is a spectators zone, and that is where many people will be enjoying this Rugby World Cup, building up to what is one of the best openers that we have seen at a Rugby World Cup in years. 2 teams with a storied history. I heard also speaking about New Zealand and France and the chances of what to actually expect in the clash, but it is going to be incredible. Furthermore, not only do these two have a storied history where France have never won a Rugby World Cup despite going to the final 3 times, twice having lost to New Zealand in that final, There were two occasions where France did beat New Zealand at a Rugby World Cup. A memorable semi-final back in 1999 where they came back from an incredible half-time deficit, the first time that a team had ever done that at a Rugby World Cup. And it went on to beat New Zealand, knock them out in the quarterfinal stage. That was back in 1999. 8 years later, France surprised the All Blacks once again. Can they do it this time around at home? All the pressure is on the hosts, France. But according to famous South African rugby writer Craig Reid, he says that France are the favourites to win this Group A opener.
Well, Valen, I don't know what they say there in France, but in South Africa we say gies. Is there something like that where you are?
You know, even though you won't generally find walking through Paris a lot of posters up saying that this is the Rugby World Cup, except when you actually get to the fan village, which will open up in all its glory later on today for the opening match. You do get a sense that people will get excited. There's a couple of tourists that I've bumped into, and although there is a language barrier, you just say Springboks, and they say, good luck. So we are known only by our teams. Los Pumas, Le Bleu, Springboks, the All Blacks. When you say that, people know that you're here for the Rugby World Cup. I think the ante is certainly going to increase. But when you look at rugby just here in France, Paris is much more of a football city. Most of the rugby is played down in the south, and that's where South Africa is going to be playing their opening game against Marseille come Sunday against Scotland.
All right, Valen, PSG will have to step aside for the next couple of months because we are going to be focused solely on the Rugby World Cup, and hopefully on the 28th of October, South Africa will make it back there for the final of the showpiece yet again for the right to lift the William Webb Ellis Trophy. Khotso, let's continue for just a second and look at Pool C. Australia, they won the World Cup last time a long time ago. I think it was in 1999, the 99 World Cup. They have Wales in that group, and surely those are the two nations that will be looked at as those to make it out of the pool.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying those are the obvious two to make it out, but people are forgetting about Fiji, you know, and Fiji beat England a couple of weeks ago at Twickenham, and Fiji have been, coming into this tournament looking really solid. They've got a solid scrumming unit for the first time in a very long time. We all know that they are blessed with some fantastic runners who are able to beat tackles at will. But the only problem is that they've always struggled at the set piece, which is line out and scrum. And for the very first time, Fiji seems like they have a team that can actually, take them all the way. They are on the easier side of the draw. And, with Australia having won a game this entire season, and, Wales also looking a bit fragile. Some might say Fiji might cause an upstairs. And I know you love a great comeback story, don't you?
I love a great comeback story, Khotso. Let's take a look at that final Pool D. Before we just give Valen a last bite to just give us what we can look forward to for the day. Pool D, England will obviously want to do something here. They were finalists the last time out against South Africa. Finalists the last time the World Cup was in France in 2007.
Yeah, England is also looking a bit fragile coming into the tournament. They've had a major shake-up in terms of their coaching. They've had erratic, results leading up into the tournament. But they are sure favorites to get out of there. But, don't discount Argentina, who ply their trade in the Southern Rugby Championship. And they've done well. They ran South Africa close at Ellis Park in the Rugby Championship. So they're a team to be reckoned with. But I think the outsiders here, if you're looking for a dark horse in this group, it's Samoa, who've been able to rope in some of former Australian and New Zealand internationals who have Samoan descent, are now going to play for Samoa in this World Cup, the likes of Lima Sopawaga and many others, and I think they might set this group alight.
Don't forget Japan are also in that group, and they beat South Africa in the 2015 World Cup. Just quickly, Valen, what can we look forward to for the rest of the day in just about 30 seconds?
We're expecting an incredible match at the Stade de France in Saint-Denis. It's going to be a sold-out affair. The highest category ticket for that match, €550, but you really can't get into the game. It is going to be an incredible match, and also it is the 8th time that this fixture is taking place. There's not been another fixture that's played between two nations as many times at a Rugby World Cup. It is going to be fantastic.
Valen Kirtley joining us live there, just under the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and that's where the opening match of the World Cup will be taking place. We'll connect to her with her throughout the day.